Hi there, KOIN 6 Meteorologist Josh Cozart here. As a KOIN 6 weather alert is currently in place, this all in preparation of the gusty winds that we're expecting to see race across the Willamette Valley, much of the coastline, and already feeling the impacts as many are left without power because of the active weather that we saw earlier in the day today, including several severe thunderstorm warnings, frequent lightning, tornado warnings on top of that. So a lot to unpack. I do want to take a brief reflection back on exactly what much of the Pacific Northwest saw earlier today as we now prep for even more active weather moving into Monday night and into Tuesday. So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, make sure that you are commenting in the section below, whether that be on Facebook, YouTube, or at KOIN.com. That's where I will try to get your questions answered as quickly and as promptly as I can. If we don't do it live here on this special edition of our KOIN Now KOIN 6 Weather Alert segment, then I'll make sure that I go back and try to answer those questions for you in the comments as well. So, it was an active day of weather. Just some of the views that we saw out towards the coastline. This is Newport, thanks to our Oregon Coast Aquarium camera. This was happening right around 3:30 or so this afternoon. That's when we really started to see a lot of that thunderstorm activity start to ramp up. It only got worse from there as these storms really started to pack a bit of a punch. And I'll leave up our radar right below me as we are still holding on to the active weather in the form of heavy rain, gusty winds. But again, it all started off with just a few thunderstorms out towards the coast as they moved up and over the higher terrain of the Cascades, or Coast Range, I should say. That's where things really started to get interesting. We saw here in the Pacific Northwest a grand total of 5 tornado warnings issued for parts of the Clackamas County area, just the same for Marion County, where it originated and then tracked its way to the north and east throughout the late evening hours. KOIN 6 News was live through the duration of the event, making sure that we were keeping all of you at home safe. Now, we had a grand total of 10 severe thunderstorm warnings that cropped up. That was more of a threat of the gusty winds. The National Weather Service was prompting the potential for 60-mile-per-hour gusts, but also seeing large hail at about 3/4 of an inch of possibility, and some of our max wind speeds were right around 52 miles per hour out towards the Portland International Airport area. So the active weather, it was widespread. I do want to give you a view of some of the lightning that we saw out towards southwest Washington. This sent in by our good friend here at KOIN 6 News and previous chief meteorologist Natasha Stenbach. You could see the flash of lightning, and if you watch the streetlights, yep, there they go, just flashing ever so briefly, as many have lost power over the past couple of hours. Many of you may be still in the dark, watching this with what is left of your phone's life as you are maybe trying to keep as much of that battery life going as possible, because the potential for power outages still remains as we work our way through the rest of this evening. So as far as that tornado warning went, we had a grand total of 5. It was all part of the same storm cell that tracked its way again through parts of Marion County all the way into Clackamas County. And you can see with our velocity, something we don't always show you here on TV or on any of our streaming services either. It's the greens and the reds, the in and the outbound winds that we see. So the red, that's going to be the wind that is blowing away from the radar site, which is out towards PDX. The green, that's the winds that are heading towards the radar site. And when you get the difference with them, we call it a couplet. That's where we start to see some of the rotation across our area. That's exactly what was in store for our area out towards the Molalla area as it tracked its way along the intersection of Highway 213 and 211. It really kind of tracked along 211 for almost 30 minutes. Again, KOIN 6 News was live for the entirety of the tornado warning, unlike any other station, so we were there to make sure that you were staying safe through this event. Of course, that tornado warning now expired, which is the good news, but boy, did it make for an active day of weather. And then ending with those severe thunderstorm warnings with a spectacular view of a rainbow. These are the type of sights that you get to see when you are up at the very tip top of the KOIN Tower in downtown Portland. It almost looks like a full circle of a double rainbow appearing over downtown Portland earlier today, and you can just see the American flag blowing in the wind. Just goes to show you that even after these storms moved through our area, we were holding on to the gusty conditions. Radar and satellite, even at this point in time, that's where we are holding on to a lot of that moisture. Those yellows, the oranges, the reds, a good indication of where some of the strongest of the rain is still being picked up. All kind of remnants, I should say, of the atmospheric river that impacted so many of us over the weekend and is just continuing to do just that. A few of those lightning strikes still being picked up out towards the Newport area, parts of Lincoln County, and this is all going to be ongoing. But thankfully, we don't have that daytime high heating that we saw earlier in the day to really intensify these thunderstorms. As they move over the higher terrain of the Coast Range or eventually into the I-5 corridor, I really think that severe weather threat is done and over with. But boy, did it leave behind, even after sunset, some great flashes of lightning. This is from our very own photojournalist, Graham, just being able to pick up on Highway 213 as we were looking for the potential for some of that tornado or potential tornado damage. Again, nothing was confirmed. Nothing was visually seen on the ground as far as that tornado went. It was radar indicated because of that couplet and a bit of a hook echo, I should say, that we saw earlier in the day. But again, just truly some spectacular lightning views coming out of a lot of these storms. Not something we typically associate with February, but with that warmer flow of moisture from the Pacific Ocean moving inland really allowed us to see that activity. So right now, are we done with the severe weather? I really think that threat is starting to taper off. The dark green shaded area that you see here, that's a marginal risk, about a 1 out of 5 chance of seeing severe thunderstorms for the coast, the I-5 corridor. This was earlier in the day just over the Pendleton area, central, south central Washington, southeastern Washington, and north central Oregon. That was the bullseye. And then we started to see all of these severe thunderstorms starting to crop up. National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center pushed it further off to the west, including the I-5 corridor, which was a smart thing to do because that's where we started to pick up on some of the most active weather we have seen here in the Pacific Northwest in many months, including those multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and that tornado warning that we saw earlier in the day as well. So for the rest of the night tonight, the rain, it does remain. So does the wind. But the wind could potentially be damaging at certain points of time, and that's where an atmospheric river is also going to slowly pull its way out of our area. I want to give you another time-lapse view, just really, truly spectacular sights being picked up out towards the Vancouver waterfront after that severe weather really started to push its way out of our area. Not only are we seeing rainbow views, but if you look closely, you can see what almost kind of look like pillows or bubbles in the sky, known as mammatus clouds. That is a great indicator of the severe weather that we saw the end of it, really, because what happens with the mammatus clouds is we get the strong updraft. So the storm is breathing, it's sucking up the air, bringing it to high altitudes in the atmosphere. It cools down, but then once the storm system starts to fall apart, which it was strong enough to create severe thunderstorms, that cold air starts to sink. And when it sinks, it almost creates these bags of air trapping the clouds and bringing them down to give us those bubble-like shapes known as mammatus clouds. That is a good sign when you see those that severe weather is starting to end, and that's exactly what we saw with just a picturesque rainbow view out towards the Vancouver waterfront. Thanks to our Hotel Indigo Kirkland Tower camera for giving us that view. Now, as far as the rain accumulation goes, we've already managed to pick up on 1/2 inch of rain for Portland today. Those numbers will continue to rise because it's actively raining right now. Salem, 1.25 inches, close to 3/4 of an inch out along the coastline. These rainfall totals are a welcome sight, especially when we look at the month of February. Right now, picking up at almost 4 inches of rain. We could potentially do that by the end of the day tomorrow. We were holding on to a rain deficit. Now a turn of the tide, pushing ourselves to about 3/4 of an inch of rain above where we should be. The month of February, typically about our 5th wettest month or so, we should only see a little more than 3 6/10 of an inch of rain. So within just the past 3 days, we have surpassed over half of the amount of rainfall that we should see or that we had already picked up on for the month of February. So again, we are still picking up on those widespread rain showers. The thunderstorms still cropping their way into places like Newport. That just seems to be the lightning favorite spot across our area. As far as the Portland-Vancouver metro area goes, definitely picking up on some heavier rain showers right now, indicated by those yellows and oranges that you see currently on your screen. As far as the live look goes out over downtown Portland, it is definitely wet out there. It is also windy, temperatures right around 50 degrees, and we will see those winds and the rains really start to pick up over the next 12 hours or so. Right now, these are just sustained winds, close to about 15 to 20 miles per hour for the I-5 corridor. Just look at Tillamook, almost 40 mile per hour sustained winds right now. So definitely holding on to the potential for some power outages. I know our Seaside camera already went down because of the power outages felt across the area. And those top wind gusts leaning into that. Portland, 52 mile per hour gusts, 55 for Astoria. Out towards McMinnville, 52 miles per hour. Ridgefield at 32 mile per hour gusts. Just today alone, those winds could potentially increase tonight, moving towards the midnight hour. And if you are one who has suffered from power outages, you are not alone. I think last check I saw on our website about 90,000 individuals around the Portland area alone are without power. So, of course, you can read a lot more about the impacts being felt with all of this severe weather and the active weather we've seen over the past 12 hours or so right now at KOIN.com as well. Live look out towards Ridgefield. That's where the rain is actively coming down. Expecting to hold on to the rain, the wind, as we push ourselves through the rest of the overnight hours into the start of the day tomorrow. And then finally, we begin to dry things out. That will be a welcome sight as the winds are expected to start to taper back as well as we approach the sunrise hour by about 5 o'clock tomorrow. They'll expect to be an onshore flow, keeping us on the drier side this time as we fall back to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. We are holding on to several high wind warnings, wind advisories. That's where we could see wind gusts along the coast tonight, easily 60 miles per hour. We've already seen that with some of our top wind gusts nearing that threshold. 50 mile per hour gusts, a possibility for us up and down the I-5 corridor. Of course, this is all expected to expire by about 4 a.m. tomorrow morning for your Tuesday. Moderate chance, though, of power outage in addition to what we're already seeing. So if you get the lights back on, they might just be out again because a lot of the tree limbs likely going to be breaking. You also got to keep in mind our soil is so saturated right now that's loosening up the root system. So it doesn't take much wind at all to topple some large trees. Those fall on power lines. You get the ripple effect there. So the power outage potential, it does remain. Let's take a look at our futurecast. This is what we expect to see for the remainder of the night. Those strong southwesterly winds definitely keeping us with that KOIN 6 weather alert. By the time we get into Tuesday morning, finally starting to dry things out. This is about 7 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully crews can get back out there and try to restore power for so many of us. But look at this. Tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, expecting to see drier, sunnier skies. Temperatures back into the mid-50s for us. A clear night means cool night for us. Tuesday into Wednesday, waking up with a little bit more of an easterly breeze. Some high thin cirrus clouds move back in. Temperatures are back up into the 50s to low 60s. So additional rain accumulation, that will near about 4 to 5/10 of an inch, so a half inch or so for the Portland area, just about the same for the coastal spots. So tonight, it's windy, it's rainy, it's cool. Temperatures falling back into the mid-40s for us. Tomorrow, along the coastline, that's where we anticipate a lot of our temperatures to still get back up into the low to mid-50s. The rain will slow. The wind will do just the same by the afternoon. For the I-5 corridor, mid to upper 50s. That's what we anticipate to see. And out towards the east, warmer temperatures, a mix of sun and clouds and a few light rain showers. And up in elevation, a few snowflakes. But again, our snow elevation levels are really starting to push to the higher end of things. 7-day forecast. We'll give you a snapshot of this. This is where we could potentially see our temperatures get back up to spring-like conditions. Low 60s for us. More sunshine on the horizon. We really dry things out. Make for some really comfortable conditions Wednesday through Friday. Again, that KOIN 6 weather alert, it's going to come to an end by pretty much sunrise tomorrow. That's where we expect to really see some improvements. I got a lot of comments, questions, concerns rolling in here on Facebook, so I'm just going to kind of read through some of those. I'll give you something a little bit prettier to look at than the 7-day forecast. Again, just some of that incredible active lightning that we saw earlier in the day today, with all of that severe weather that started to come to an end right around 6 o'clock or so. Okay, let's see. Brandon here says, hi from Northeast Portland. His power flickered, and the winds are blowing very strong right now. I am not surprised by that. Kat says from Tualatin, and this weather is crazy. I would definitely agree. It's not too often that I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Kansas originally. I'm no stranger to tornadoes, but I never thought I would be on air for nearly 30 minutes straight talking about an active tornado warning, whether it is going to be confirmed by the National Weather Service or not. To just even talk about a tornado warning for that prolonged amount of time here in the Portland, Vancouver metro area definitely wasn't on my bingo card for this year. So the active weather, it's definitely a bit of a surprise for so many of us here across the Pacific Northwest, and I'm glad we were all able to get through it together. Let's see. Kat also says my mom is in Wilsonville and has no power and may be out until 10 a.m. tomorrow. Unfortunately, with so many power outages out there, it's going to take crews a minute to fix that. Does Tigard have power right now? I believe we have some interactive maps right now at KOIN.com where you can kind of click around and see exactly who is out of power right now. Sandra says, I'm pretty sure there was some kind of system that passed by here in Gresham earlier today. It literally sounds like somebody was dragging the garbage can down the street. Hey, I always like to show some of those wild trash cans gone wild, and that was definitely the case for sure across our area today because of those gusty winds. Definitely going to be a for sure sign. Let's see. I am. Samantha says I am on the Oregon in the Oregon City, and it is quiet for a few minutes, and then the wind just hit. So hard shaking my windows, and rain is coming down. Yeah, not surprised by that because it's definitely windy. It's very rainy out there. This is going to be something that we continue to see for the remainder of the night tonight. So right now, our current time, 9:25. I'm going to conclude this KOIN Now special edition as a KOIN 6 weather alert does remain in place. We will have live coverage coming up on the 10 on Portland's CW, and then we will also have KOIN 6 News starting at 11 o'clock on CBS Channel 6. So hopefully we can give you the latest updates on this very active day of weather. Thankfully, the rest of the week looking to be a lot smoother. So again, I hope that everyone stays safe, warm, and dry tonight as the winds continue to increase.